Things have moved at a fast pace in the last few weeks. Can you just update us on the current state of play with the museum?
Well, you're absolutely right, Katie, and I think the most important thing at the moment is that we remain very agile. These are very unprecedented times. We're very lucky to have a very supportive and engaged management group, and our mission currently is to minimise the impact that this will have, both operationally and financially, and to look at the opportunities that actually it affords us operationally as we move forward in this downtime, so that when we do reopen, we can reopen confidently, knowing that when our visitors come through that door, they experience the very high standard that we pride ourselves on.
So can you tell me a bit more about these new operational opportunities?
Well, we've done a lot of analysis. We've looked at lots of projects over the last week or so. We've identified that we can bring forward the planning and building of our new Williams F1 exhibition and display, which is due to open in June. So we're going to start working on that now within the museum on the structural side of it. We're also looking at, across the museum, at site infrastructure projects. We have plans to build a new car park for over 400, with over 400 new car parking spaces. And we're going to bring those plans forward as much as we can, again, so that when we do reopen, we can give our visitors, guests, car clubs and groups, conferences, all of our visitors, the best possible service.
At a time like this with so many people self-isolating, are there any plans to continue to communicate with your audiences?
Very much so, Katie. We, our collections director, Laura Gangadine, working, as you know, alongside yourself as our marketing team lead, and indeed across the museum, we're working on an integrated digital campaign where we can focus on communicating with both our motoring enthusiasts, but also, and equally as importantly, our offering to the family market. And we're working on plans to deliver very much an interactive and very engaging campaign over the coming weeks and months.
Something everyone in the tourism industry must be thinking right now. It's hard to know what the right thing is to do and how.
Well, absolutely. There is no playbook for this. I think what's important is that we listen to each other. We go outside of the organisation for advice. We're very lucky in that we have a very supportive community in Somerset and indeed in the southwest. We work very closely with Visit Somerset, with Somerset 365, and also actually within the motor museum world, I certainly am talking on a regular basis with the National Motor Museum at Bewley, with the British Motor Museum, and of course Brooklands as well, and we're helping each other.
The museum also has other business units such as venue hire and workshop and restoration and the museum shop. What is happening with them at the moment?
Well, unfortunately they've pretty much across the board been very much affected by this, with one particular exception. The venue hire business sadly obviously has now had to close for the foreseeable future, but they're still working very much on communicating with their clients. They're changing their dates, they're rebooking, they're looking to offer solutions, and I think we must bear in mind that once this is all over, there will be an end to it, face-to-face communication will be so important, and venues like ours with our large conference centre and meeting rooms will be really, really important for businesses and private organisations to get together face-to-face again and communicate. So that's the venue hire side of things. In terms of the museum shop, we talked earlier on about the operational opportunities that this affords us. We've actually accelerated the plans for our online shop. We're looking to be launching that hopefully by the end of April, which means that it will be up and running for Father's Day, for example. So we would encourage people to keep checking the website for further news on that. And our other business unit, and I hasten to add that all of our business units, as we're a charity, all of their profits go back into the charity to support our charitable objectives. Our other business unit is the Workshop and Restoration Centre, and currently they are still open. got a lot of work on, some really exciting projects, and we will follow government guidelines, but they will remain open for as long as they can. And indeed, we hope to be bringing you, or bringing the general public, news via digital channels of the projects that they're working on.
The museum also relies heavily on volunteers. What's happening with them at the moment?
Well, you're right. Our volunteers are absolutely key to us operating. We have 79 volunteers at the moment, and they do, in fact, the equivalent of over 10 full-time members of the staff if you add up all the hours they work. I made the decision last week, on Monday in fact, to ask the volunteers not to attend the museum. They are predominantly, although not all of them, they're predominantly in the higher risk category in terms of their age. And first and foremost, our duty of care is to the health and well-being of our volunteers and our staff, and indeed our visitors. But we are planning on still communicating with the volunteers. As you know, Katie, you're working on a project to deliver a closed Facebook group for them, and we have longer term plans to develop an intranet so that they can really engage with what we're doing. And in fact, we're currently working on a review of how we work with our volunteers, and they're very much involved in that. So there'll be a lot of work going on behind the scenes which can continue digitally.
Thanks, Chris. So I've had a few questions from visitors, and the first being, what happens to me and my annual pass that I've bought?
So if you've bought either a gift aid or a non-gift aided annual pass, we will simply add on to that pass all the number of days that we are shut. So we closed at the end of last Thursday, so if we're shut for 3 months, we will simply add on 3 months to that annual pass, so no one will lose out.
Great, and another question I've got here is, I've recently booked a party. What is happening now?
So that's with our venue hub?
Yeah.
Right. So quite simply, I would encourage everyone to pick up the phone, to ring up Wendy Evis, our venue hire manager, and she is at the moment shuffling dates. People are rebooking. Now, a lot of people will say, well, when do I rebook for? Well, if I knew the answer to that, then life would be very easy. But Wendy is facilitating those changes, and she's remaining as absolutely as flexible as she possibly can.
And that kind of leads quite nicely onto this other question I've been sent, which says, when are you planning to reopen?
Well, again, how long's a piece of string? All I can say is that a big part of what we're doing now is to make sure that the museum operationally maintains geared up as much as it possibly can, so that when we do reopen, that very first morning, those visitors come through the front doors, they will experience an exceptional time. They'll create those amazing memories that will last a lifetime, and that's what we're really working towards. We're working towards being in a position where we can open at 24 hours notice.
Thanks, Chris. Finally, is there a way that people can support the museum whilst we're closed?
Well, there certainly is, and in terms of a broader awareness, please, I would ask everyone to engage with us through social channels. Please like and share, and rather than just doing that, please comment, please get involved, please engage. If you're a family, get involved with our family activities. If you're an enthusiast, please let us know your thoughts and comment on the posts that we're sharing, the videos that we're sharing. But looking slightly longer term, the best way that you can support us, the general public can support us, is to come and see us when we open again.